Okay, let's take up H1.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the board has received an offer from Can We Help to donate a printer copier. I've attached in your packet the email correspondence between myself and Can We Help. We're not exactly sure by the nature of the email who Can We Help is, if that matters to the board. I believe that Ms. Spencer is here to speak on behalf of Can We Help, and I also believe that what Can We Help is offering is somewhat of a conditional gift of a copier to be used in this boardroom by the Board of Supervisors. And by the way, you've noticed that I started using the screen with some of the agenda items. Hopefully that's not distracting during the meeting.
That's good.
It's not intended to be, but I just Googled the copier that is intended to be donated. I believe Ms. Spencer probably wants to address it. In terms of operating a copier inside the boardroom, I'm not in favor of that. I think it would be disruptive. I wouldn't object to something out in the hallway, although we do have a copier on that side of the room and on that side.
Well, there's one right in there. That room is open.
The questions I would have regarding this copier, and don't view me as looking a gift horse in the mouth, but this gift would probably come along with the requirement to maintain this, and the ink cartridges for these lower level copiers can be pretty expensive by the page. So with that, I'm going to let Ms. Spencer make her offer.
Well, I didn't purchase these. Can We Help was given these copiers by one of our members. And I don't know, for some reason I didn't get copies of this. I don't know whether I don't have one. Normally I get a whole bunch of them to hand out, but I don't. It's just the offer. If we had the copy there, I would make you some copies.
Well, why don't you use the copy right over there?
It's 2 paragraphs. I can send it to you. I mean, I can read it, or we can stop and make copies. I can even tell you what it is. These copiers, these 4500s, were donated by one of our members, and we'd like to donate. It's a very small copier, very quiet copier, and it has the capability of hooking up to your iPods if you have the app. That's not the intent of the gift. It's to comply with Brown Act Section 54957.5. The copier is less than 10 pounds. We actually, for the board, we didn't give it to the one-stops, but we actually have a bag. It's 17 inches by 13 inches by 5 inches tall, and it really makes copies fast and quiet. So we could even supply a small table right here. You could even fit in that corner on a little table. We would supply the table. We would even supply the ink cartridges. Just give me a couple of days and you need it. I've been told one cartridge, number 61, lasts almost 6 or 7 months. It's just, it's a very efficient little copier. We have one out at the One Stop in Westwood, and I was going to give Mr. Albaugh one to take for me up to the One Stop in his district, but of course he's here today, so I don't mind driving it up there. Like I said, if the board members, I know you have a wireless capability and you have an iPad. If you have the app to download, if you bring in a copy and you haven't made copies but it's passed around, we're entitled to get a copy of that. It's just, like I said, Brown Act Section 54957.5 states immediate access to what you are given. So it's very quiet, fast. You could do 10 copies in less than a minute. And the wireless part is up to you if you want to take advantage of it. But if you do, the public can access things too. So if somebody has a document on their phone that they forgot to bring with them, and they can download it immediately to the copier and have that app, it can be done. But the whole purpose of donating this copier, according to the gesture made by one of our members, is to have access to documents that you don't provide copies for that are presented to the board. So there's no all you have to do is sign for it. There's no other connection. And I think I would be authorized to approve paying for the cartridges. It's a number 61, and I can get them overnighted through HP. It's not a big deal. So, but like I said, we've had people use this, and they last 6 to 8 months, those little printers. So they're just very efficient. And if you approve it, if you don't approve it, it goes to Vermont. But I think you need to set aside your animosity towards me and consider that this is a good addition to these board meetings. And if you never use it, then we never have to buy you a cartridge. But it's there, and it's going to be available for Susan to make you copies within seconds. So that was all.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of points that maybe while Ms. Spencer is there. From an administrative standpoint, I don't want to be the police of a copier. And this room is used for a lot of other meetings other than just Board of Supervisors meetings. I'm not sure, planning commission, solid waste, et cetera, et cetera. Don't know if they would use the copy or not, but the email was for the board's use. Is that correct? It's
for the board meetings, but because we now have this nice bag to put it in, we can have somebody bring it first thing before your meeting starts, set it up for you before you go into closed session, and then take it back. It's not something that has to stay here. We have people that can come and bring it. And we don't even have to set it up, but we're kind of bending over backwards to comply with the Brown Act and make it convenient for the public, which isn't happening right now. We don't get copies of the stuff that's passed between you. We don't, and don't give me that look, because we don't.
I'm wondering what documents you're talking about. I was going to ask Richard which documents are not available to the public.
I don't accept the premise that we're in violation of that.
No, I'm not saying in order to comply with the immediate distribution of documents that are presented at a public meeting, she can look up the Brown Act.
It's Government Code Section 5495 or 5495.7.5. It requires public records distributed at the board meeting that are provided to the board members less than 72 hours before the meeting.
Read C.
Are required to be allowed to be inspected at the clerk's office following the meeting.
Read C.
While you're looking at C, I'd just like to make a comment. From my point of view, the relationship between Can We Help and the board is it's a kind of an aggressive one of attack always from Can We Help, with accusations of the board being useless, deceitful, untruthful, pathetic, and the list goes on and on. And I just think it's, if we need a copy machine or anything to be in compliance, I mean, we have the wherewithal, and we should be supplying that ourselves. And also, I'm sure...
That's exactly what I thought you would say.
But the main reason is, should you come up here and need support of the board or my vote on something. I'd hate to violate the Brown Act because you donated a gift and not be able to support you.
It's not coming from me,
You're
Mr.
you're
Wozniak.
part of the Can We Help. You're actually the
It's
face
been
of Can We
donated
Help.
by
What,
a member.
and Mr. Chairman, one of
So that's
my questions is, who is the donation coming from? How can we help from what we can ascertain in the website? I mean, I've never seen any individuals that will claim to be associated with it, other than Ms. Spencer.
And that's their choice.
And so we don't know who the gift is coming from, so it's hard to determine for a supervisor if there is a conflict, if you don't know who the gift is coming from.
It was donated to Can We Help.
Right, and not knowing who donated to Can We Help and who Can We Help is, makes it impossible for
Well, I
a
can tell you it
supervisor.
didn't come from me, if that's any consolation. So it's meant as a gesture of goodwill. And and it accomplishes a lot of things.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I would be opposed to having a copy machine in the boardroom during the board session, whether it's provided by an outside source or provided by the county. Because I think I have a business in which I do a fair amount of copying. And the copy machines, I even have some of these wireless, I've actually put them in my house, that, sometimes work with the phones and the iPads, and sometimes they don't. They can be somewhat temperamental. Wireless technology isn't as all it's cracked up to be, but they're HP units, and so and they are relatively quiet, but they still cause a break in the discussion. My recommendation is if the public feels that they're being disserved by not having something in the room, maybe there could be a plug found out there in the 4A lobby area there where the 4-H and everybody has there's a table out there that they could come and set it up and have it available for them if they want to. The staff has already demonstrated there's a copy machine right across the hallway. While the conversation went on, the letter that Mrs. Spencer only brought one, and she talks about how oftentimes people make presentations to the board and there's not copies available. She demonstrated how that happened this morning by coming in with just one copy with her presentation, and knowing full well that
I'm given these an hour before the meeting.
Well, no, I'm just the point being made is it was a good demonstration, and the way staff handled it is that they took it, despite the fact that she said it wasn't necessary, walked across, got the copies made, and had them back in our hands beforehand. But as far as the chairman's remarks concerning, I think the relationship between the board and Can We Help is benign. I do not know of any board member or the board or the county devoting a website vilifying Can We Help as an organization. They exist. In the past, I've actually even contributed money to some of Mrs. Spencer's activities when she had her animal rescue thing, and did so with no malice or forethought. It was designed to help the public interest. The fact that Can We Help maintains a website that is devoted to vilifying the board and vilifying individual members of the board and members of the county family, that's her problem, that's her business, has nothing to do with the board, and does not subject itself to these particular deliberations. As far as I'm concerned, it's a benign question. I personally would not be in favor of having a copy machine stationed in the boardroom where we would be interrupting the board's deliberations. If there's copies that need to be made, staff has the ability to step out and get the copies made and bring them back. And so any sort of compliance with the Brown Act is easily accomplished that way. And I think the board should say, thank you, Mrs. Spencer. It sounds like Hurlong could probably use an extra copy machine, so that might be the appropriate place for them to send their donations to the folks down there. And I would be not in favor of accepting this particular donation.
And I respect your opinion. However, the next time, I can assure you, the next time I ask or any member of the public asks for a copy of something that's been handed out publicly to any of you, and you don't stop and make a copy, there will be a Brown Act complaint filed each and every time.
The county administration, if you could explore, maybe if there's a plug is available out there in the lobby area, they can come and set up their copy machine and have it available, and it's something that they do on their own, and it's easy for them to.
That
step out
wasn't
and
the
do it.
intent, Mr., and, you know, after today, the gesture of goodwill will be gone, and there are a lot of, I know Melody, I was talking, she's got one of these little copies. I was hoping she would still be here because she could tell you how efficient and how quiet it is. But I understand. It was hard for me to present this because of personally the animosity towards me, myself. The website is the website.
Okay, we're going to move on now.
In 14
There's not the support of the board for this, so we got still a lot of stuff. So we need to move
In
on.
14 years, we've never been sued for defamation or slander.
I would like to clarify the section C of 54957.5 because that was brought up. Well, it's very short, I'll read it. Writings that are public records under subdivision A, which would be ones that were provided, and that are distributed during a public meeting shall be made available for public inspection at the meeting if prepared by the local agency or a member of the local agency, or member of legislative body, or after the meeting if prepared by some other person. These writings shall be made available in appropriate alternative formats upon request by a person with a disability, etc. So what I read that to mean is that if one of you or a part of the agency present a document, then that needs to be made public immediately. Now, if someone comes to the podium from the public and presents you with something, that does not need to be made public immediately.
And I have many times sent emails to people with copies of documents that have been presented during the meeting.
So just for clarification.
So that practice does it go on? I mean, documents distributed and not being available to the public?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, example of the documents distributed is some of the handouts that Camille has provided today. We are required under the government code, and that's why Susan gets copies, so they can be viewed by any member of the public in the clerk's office following the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, I think if you really want to help, you could investigate the facts before you come here and waste the people's time. It is the people's meeting, like you said.
14 years, we've never been sued. We've never been sued, ever.
Well, when you blast public officials, elected officials in particular, are.
If there's something in particular you want, write, and I'll have our attorney look at it, and we will take it off.
It's immaterial because.
Unfortunately, it's all true.
No, it's not all true. A lot of it is maliciously made up. But at the same point, the bottom line is that as a public official, we're basically told from the moment we sit here that we're subject to whatever vilification people would like to heap upon us. It's part of the job. So we just accept it as part of the job. I'm not going to waste an attorney's time or the county's time or my time suing something that the court's going to throw out because when you choose to run for office and get elected, you immediately make yourself a target for people who want to vilify you. So that's the issue there. I mean, you can say whatever you want, whether it's true or not, and that's freedom of our country, freedom of speech. And my freedom of speech is I have no respect for what you do, but that's immaterial to what we're dealing with. It's benign. So do what you want to do. Keep doing it.
We will.
Keep helping.